world has changed. America has changed. If something were to happen tomorrow, how self-sufficient would you be? Could you grow your own food? Could you sustain your own livestock? Could you survive? This is the We Grow Our Show with Nick and Don. Nick and Don talk about everything from politics to planting. They cover techniques, methods, and tips on how to not only survive, but thrive. Visit the website at WeGrowOurs.com. Lock and load. This is the We Grow Our Show. Get your grow on.
Welcome to the We Grow Our Show. For those of you just joining, you've missed out on a lot. We've got 35 other episodes out there.
More than that.
We got 36?
38.
38?
Yeah,
when did that happen? Well,
I'm getting them all put up on YouTube, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you have like video footage of us? Because nobody wants to see
it's just the picture
that.
And then the audio.
Okay.
But I'm going to try and get some video footage of like when we go to the Prepper Fest
well, then I got to
on the 25th. Yeah.
Yes, you do.
So do I. Okay. So I'm going to put like some video, some YouTube up of that maybe. I think we should do it like a little podcast there or something.
Yeah.
See if we can get some guests to come
sure,
right
why
on
not?
and just ask them questions about cool products we see or something. I don't know. We'll do something fun.
I'm going to have a good time. I'm a little bummed I don't get to take my rabbits this go around.
No, you don't.
Oh, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess.
Well, rabbits and heat don't get along well, and not knowing if it's going to be hot out or not.
Well,
and when they stick you outside,
every
makes it tough.
single expo that I have ever done, there's never been an issue with taking the rabbits inside.
Right.
Never. And all of a sudden, boom, my rabbits are
Well,
outside.
I think it's probably the venue.
It's not. It's the organizers. Seriously.
This is on air.
I don't care. This comes back to him. He'll know. I already told him my piece in it.
Yeah, well.
So
we will, we'll be out at Westworld on October 25th.
Mm-hmm.
And
we'll be teaching rabbits. Well, I'll be teaching rabbits 101. Well, you won't be.
I have to get my presentation together for those black soldier flies.
Don's look of realization
weekend,
just now
it?
was my feeling 10th grade in high school. Oh no.
Wait, that's
it's due today. Yeah, it is.
So that won't
so
we will have been out at the Prepper
Yes.
Fest, and I hope we saw you there.
Yeah.
How's that?
It was great seeing you all at the Prepper Fest this weekend.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So our next event coming up is in March. So nothing that I know of before that.
If you're in Kingman,
oh, right.
There's an expo on the 15th,
I believe
15th
it
and
is.
16th. We're going to get some classes together. I have my own teaching area.
How
So
cool.
We'll do a couple of one-on-one classes and maybe get some killing on. I don't know. I got to get that okayed first. I can murder a rabbit in front of people. A little over the top?
A little bit, but
Okay.
hey, whatever. It's you. Murderer the cute and fluffy. We know that.
Yeah, that's
So-
what I do.
It's been a long week. We took a week off.
Yeah.
I had some personal things to go attend to. You had just gone on vacation and needed to get caught up.
Yeah.
Did you get caught up?
No.
No, I didn't either.
I slept a little. That was cool.
Yeah, and I didn't go on vacation, I guess. I drove to Colorado, picked somebody up, and drove home.
Yeah. Well, and I trudged through the giant petri dish that's called Disneyland and
Yes.
came back with a few versions of hepasurfilades.
Nice.
Or whatever crap was
It's not as bad
airborne
as
in the
Ebola,
park.
I guess. Right?
Yeah, no. Well, and I've told my wife, I'm like, seriously, we're going to Disneyland the week that Ebola enters the United States. You are just, yes, let's
Well,
do
at least
it.
it's not the week that it broke out in Disneyland.
This is true. This is true. Oh my gosh. Anyway, we had fun. The kids loved it. It was fun watching the kids enjoy it. But
It's
even
the
as-
happiest place on earth.
dude, even as a little kid, I didn't like that place.
Yeah.
I was like, seriously? Mickey Mouse is freaking me out.
My father and my stepmother are into Disney.
Yeah?
Oh, she's like a Disney expert. It's unreal. They go out there all the time. They have a blast. And I like going with them because they know all the stuff to do and when to go, where there's no lines and how to get around. It is fun. So I kind of enjoy that. But I like Disney World. I'm not a huge fan of Disneyland. I've been a few times, but it does not compare to Disney World.
I don't think I did Disney World. I did Universal Studios and the other park. that's right
Orlando.
there.
Yeah.
But
it's fun. I like the Florida aspect of it. So yeah, I speaking of getting to go do drives and stuff, I found out that the federal government is like the biggest bureaucracy around. I mean, not that I didn't know that
in the last week.
Yeah, in the last week, it's really come to my attention that it's even worse than I thought it was. And I can't go into a whole lot of details, unfortunately, but I will say things are not good. So I hope everybody goes out and votes. How's that? And just fire everybody.
Seriously.
I don't care what your side you're on. Just fire them.
Everybody that's in office right now, nuke them.
None of the above is an option.
None of the above.
You type right NOTA and that's your write-in. None of the above. I'm telling you, some of these guys need to go. There's a few people I'm voting for. Barry Hess.
Yeah?
Yeah. He's for governor in Arizona. I'm voting for him. I know him. I talked with him for years now. I think he's a listener, and Barry, you're a little wacky on some things. But I like your politics, so I'm going to vote for him. But he's the only guy out there saying, I'm not going to spend money on this and that. I'm actually going to get rid of this portion of government or do what I can to do it. So that's just, at this point, man, I am frustrated. I had a friend who posts this thing on Facebook, and it's kind of a cool little deal. He's a federal government worker, and he was talking about that they designed and 3D printed this little missile launcher that sits on their desk and they can like control from their computer. Like a USB kind of thing.
Okay.
And they can shoot little missiles out, and some of the guys will fly the helicopter through the office, and it's on everybody's cubicle, so they'll shoot it at the helicopter, and it's like a little game that they play in the office. And as fun as that is, and as much as I love that, I was thinking, how much did that cost to 3D print for all of
Do you have the conversation, or did he delete the whole thing?
I don't want to put the conversation up.
Well, no, I mean, we don't have to just go through because the volley that you explained to me was what I really enjoyed.
I mean, it was, I started asking, and this is a while ago.
Because you baited him in.
Yeah, I kind of, there's a Warren Gillette on my Facebook thing that always accuses me of baiting him. This one I actually did bait. Because every time I type a question, he's like, you're baiting me, Don. I was like, okay, Warren. But no, this one I did. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Where'd you get the 3D printer? Oh, I have it at work. Oh, cool. How did you get the design? Well, we designed it. Oh, cool. How long did it take you to do that? And I just kept going through, and he answered the questions. And finally I was like, so I wonder how much money that costs the tax dollars. The federal government, maybe you shouldn't even have a job if you've got all this time to do this. And he wasn't happy with me because I did kind of bait all the way through it. It was mean.
You know what though? Sometimes it takes subtle hints of, hey, maybe we shouldn't spend our time doing that. Isn't going to work anymore.
Well,
sometimes you got to take a cricket bat to the side of somebody's head with policy.
Yeah, but this is somebody who works for the federal government who thinks that the federal government can do no wrong, and it's not going to change his mind. My whole thing was I was just really curious how much money it cost me.
Yeah, well,
and then you get the argument, well, if it's your money, it's only a penny of it. So
no,
I'll give
a
it back
third of
to
my
you.
money.
Well, and that's the thing, not even a penny goes to me. Well, that's great when you're holding a gun to somebody's head and forcing them to give it to you. I don't think it matters if it's a penny or if it's all you got. It's still theft.
Exactly.
You're getting me into politics now.
Well, and that's okay. Basic. How much of our time? Let's not say money. How much of our time goes to paying the government?
Yeah.
We work until May.
Yeah.
We work until May to pay our taxes. That's how much we're taxed. And so if you're right wing, left wing, center, I don't care. That's how much you're paying if you have a job and you're working.
Right.
So,
and we shouldn't. I mean, I understand that I'm not an anarchist.
No.
I believe in government.
Yeah.
And I know there's people out there that don't, and you've got some very valid arguments. However, I'm not one of those. I haven't gotten there. Yet. But we're
just not that cool yet, Don.
Yeah, I know. And I think people misunderstand anarchy too. It's got a negative connotation of violence with it, where it's actually not. It's complete volunteerism. I'm personally on the side of the libertarian side, where we need less government, but government still needs to be there. Mm-hmm. I don't even have a problem with taxes. I have a problem with property taxes, but I don't have a problem with things like consumption taxes. I think it can be done in a more fair way. Let's put it that way. You're still being forced to do it, but the amount of government freaking waste that I've seen this week blows my mind. I mean, it really blows my mind. I will say that it's unbelievable. And if people could even look into a little bit of this, they would be as scared as I am as far as where this country's going. So on to what we can do about it.
That's right.
We can grow our own food.
You can grow your own food, produce your own fuel, and
compost your own food waste.
And compost your own food waste, which
right.
This is something that we've had another guest on before, and we have an in-studio guest coming in. And but the fact that you're not going to eat everything that you buy at the store. You're not going to eat everything that you grow. Some things that you grow come along with stems and leaves that you don't eat.
Right.
It's got to go somewhere.
Well, heck, what if I told you there was a way that you could not only compost that, but even waste as far as meat and dairy
and things
like that, and it wouldn't be smelly.
And what comes out of your dairy
Well, I don't know about that. I didn't ask. We're not going to go there.
Poop.
Rabbit poop.
Rabbit poop.
So we're going to have a great guest in studio today in the Situation Room. We've got the Bokashi Evolution coming.
Bokashi by Morganic.
By Morganic.
Coolest name ever.
Yeah.
All right, next up we've got Morganic in studio.
Things just got real. The drugstore is closed and the doctor is unavailable. What are you going to do? Stock your medicine cabinet and bug-out bag with nature's alternative, essential oils. Visit mylavenderlife.com for all your essential oil needs.
Welcome back to the We Grow Our Show. We have an in-studio guest. Mm-hmm. This is a rare occasion where we get to share the Situation Room. And not only are we sharing the Situation Room, but we have Morganic with us. That's Morgan oh my gosh. Coffinger?
Coffinger.
Coffinger! It's a G. It goes both ways. I'm sorry. I told you I'd do it. Anyway, now that I'm beat red, oh my gosh, now I'm looking at the company name. I just said it.
Bokashi Evolution.
Bokashi Evolution. Should we start over?
No, that's right.
Okay.
That's good.
Oh, good thing you guys can't see.
I'm leaving it in even if we start over. So
this guy, he's got control of the edit button and always hangs me out to dry. It's awesome. But he sounds perfect. I don't know why that is.
Always.
Anyway, speaking of awesome, so we've got Bokashi Evolution.
Yes.
Am I saying that right? Bokashi Evolution. Okay. Compost. This is subject that we really need to hit home. We're building mounds and mounds of trash all around the world. People don't realize they're throwing away gold. So,
yeah, we talked last time we did the composting show with Mark. Mm-hmm. We got into the whole, this is what everything comes from and how we're losing topsoil everywhere.
Yes.
So this is something everybody needs to do and can do. And Morgan, it's easy to do, right?
Very easy.
And tell me about your company, because the no odor thing is really what intrigues me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Bokashi Evolution was founded about 2 years ago. I had WOOFed, which is an acronym for Worldwide Organic Opportunities for Farmers, in Hawaii.
Ooh.
Beautiful place to go. And that's where I learned how to organic farm. And there is where I learned the style of Bokashi composting. And here I am, waist deep in this huge pile of compost. And my teacher is telling me about composting in a bucket. I'm like, well, why the hell am I here turning these huge compost piles? And so I've never looked back. So Bokashi composting is a Japanese style of composting. Bokashi is a Japanese term for fermented organic matter. And it has been around for hundreds of years. And it's very popular. In fact, the creator of the main ingredient in Bokashi composting, his name is Dr. Higa. And he basically had this spin off of this traditional composting method where Asian farmers would go into the hills and source these beneficial bacteria, make these incredible inoculants, and then spread them throughout their crops on the soil and really boost the microbial community there.
So they're like hunting and gathering bacteria.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Talk about cool.
Yeah.
So good old Dr. Higa made it really easy on us. He formulated basically what's out in the forest into this nifty liquid that we can purchase online at very reasonable price, and it goes by effective microorganisms. So that is really the gold in Bokashi composting. It's basically phototrophic bacteria, lactic acid, and yeast. And phototrophic bacteria is known in other cultures as purple bacteria. And it's actually, we can thank this purple bacteria for oxygenating our atmospheres. So it's been around for eons.
Wow.
Thank you, bacteria.
Yeah. Well, more and more, I'm thinking that I want to slap people that are using the hand sanitizer with alcohol. Don't kill that bacteria. It's good for you.
Well, that's not the one that's good for you.
Okay. So the purple bacteria, purple microbials, they actually look purple?
They do under a microscope and a petri dish. I personally have not, been in a laboratory collecting the purple bacteria.
I can make that happen.
I believe you
I
could.
have access to a laboratory that we can go look at bacteria in.
You'd make a horrible mad scientist, Don.
Oh, I would.
You're too lovable and nice looking.
I went the other way when you said that, but okay, thanks.
Anyway, so you've got this ready to go compost tea kind of a thing.
Basically, what I do is I take this inoculant, this good bacteria, and I give it a home. And I'm using wheat bran for the time being. And basically, I add the liquid bacteria to the wheat bran. I add some non-chlorinated water and some good old organic blackstrap molasses. And that feeds the bacteria. So I put them in these big barrels and they ferment. Then I dry the Bokashi and all of the bacteria goes dormant. So then you can package it and, pass it off to your neighbor.
Hey, there you go.
So that's your business. You sell the...
So okay. I make Bokashi. I also sell these nifty little bucket kits that, anyone can make. I only have them on hand for the people that are like, I want to do it now.
Yeah.
But I encourage people to take the responsibility of, you can do this yourself.
Yeah, that's one of the big things that on our last show we talked about. Mark talked about composting underneath your sink, and we actually have done that at home. And if you do it right, apparently it's not supposed to smell.
Correct.
I guess I'm not doing it right because we get an odor out of it. But the way I understand it is if I add this to that, that'll help keep the odor down and compost things a little bit faster. Is that kind of what I gather?
So the beneficial bacteria in the Bokashi not only consumes odor-causing bacteria, but it also breaks down the organic matter. But it needs to be in this airtight container. So it's not an aerobic style of composting.
Gotcha.
It's totally the opposite. And when you get those smells, you know that,
You've got a leak.
You got a leak.
It's anaerobic.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm understanding that right, you've got some bacteria that are going to be the anaerobic digesters, really, and then you have another set that are actually eating those and releasing oxygen? Is that...
It's actually... The beneficial bacteria is releasing what's called... It's an alcohol-based... It's ester, I believe.
Ester.
Yeah.
Yes. And so it's non-greenhouse gas forming.
Okay.
It's not harmful, so when you open the bucket, you'll smell kind of like a sweet pickling of your food scraps, but it does not smell like rancid food scraps under your sink.
Nice. So I do this now. I take that out. I've used the Bokashi. I've got my bucket. It's full. Everything's good. how long is the process till I get to use it in my garden?
Well, this is the first stage.
Okay.
This is the pickling stage or the fermenting stage. This is when all of the organic matter has been broken down so that plants can consume the nutrients at the cellular level. We just got to get it into the ground. Okay. So we dig this big trench in our garden bed, dump your food scraps into your trench, not your bucket. A lot of people are like, so I buried my bucket. I'm like, don't bury the bucket. Ah. I should have a picture diagram. So you dump this fermented food scraps and then you bury it.
Okay.
And you've got about 3 inches of soil on top. And you wait 2 weeks. And then you can plant directly on top. So we're talking 2 weeks sitting alone in the bucket, 2 weeks in your garden bed, 30 days to reaping your black gold.
Nice.
Wow. Super fast.
Now, I like it. Can you use other things? I'm going to go here because we always do. Can you use, it should be Nick.
Poop?
Yeah. Can you use other things like rabbit poop?
Of course.
I mean, we're always looking for ways to get rid of rabbit poop.
I was producing 400 pounds of rabbit manure a day. So
yeah,
poop's a big deal.
So we've done the black soldier flies, and I do vermiculture, and we're making rabbit poop cubes to plant things in. We're always like, okay, what else can we do with poop? So we can use that as part of this.
Sure, absolutely.
Oh, how cool!
Absolutely.
That's awesome. You see, I've played with
oh gosh, here we go.
Anaerobic digestion for methane production as a fuel source.
Think flamethrower.
Yes,
awesome.
I built a flamethrower that runs on rabbit poop. It's
wow. Do you do parties?
Yeah, I show up in a big bunny suit holding the flamethrower. Cops are called.
In a bunny suit.
I gotta get one. Seriously.
No, please. No, don't.
Your nightmare has now become reality. All right. But anyway, at the end of the anaerobic digestion process, there's a substance that is completely teeming with bacteria. I mean, there's a ton of stuff in it. And I'm wondering if maybe at that point, if it would still benefit to break down further with your methods of having the other bacteria introduced to, I don't know if it'd be beneficial or not to continue breaking it down. I mean, rabbit manure by itself can go onto the garden and just break down over time, but to get a real punch.
Yeah, because I like like you said, that black gold.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that beautiful soil. I love planting in that stuff because I do aquaponics. That's kind of my thing. And I see a huge yield increase using aquaponics. But when you're using the right soil, I mean, for other things that I can't do in my aquaponics garden, it makes a huge difference. There's a huge growth difference between when I go out and grab some dirt and put it in or when I feed my food and my plants the proper nutrition. And just like in aquaponics, I'm growing potatoes, things like that in it, carrots, all of my root vegetables. I need soil.
Mm-hmm. And
I'm always looking for a good way to get soil. And I'm not a huge fan of composting. Not like Mark who wants to go play in compost.
Yeah.
I don't like it. So I want to reap the benefits really fast.
Well, and see, that's where I think we're stuck in that paradigm of it's garbage. I don't want to play with garbage. I want to play with new stuff. But this is cool. Now I'm excited because now it's a science project with my garbage.
Absolutely.
When you start, I was amazed too. All right, so I've got a family of 5, and the amount of food waste that we have blew my mind when we started the composting because we started with a bucket under the sink. And I put all the banana peels in there, scrape all the dishes in there rather than in the garbage. And it filled up like 2 days. Really? I'm like, wow. I didn't know I was wasting this because we're also feeding our chickens a lot of our waste. So I assumed most of it was going out to the chickens. So we're taking the same amount of stuff out to the chickens, but it's just the little stuff that's ending up in the bucket and it's filling up that fast. So we have to change a few things, but I still want to use it. I don't want to get rid of it. I don't want to put it in the dumpster.
Well, yeah, that's throwing away money. I mean, it's funny. My mom, I also live at home. My wife wouldn't let me get a dog. So I've got water turtles and a tortoise. And so anything that comes off the table that's meat, it goes into the water turtles because they're carnivorous and omnivorous. And then anything that's green goes to the tortoise. And so we don't really have I mean, they both turn it into compost in their own certain ways, but it's that rabbit manure. I got to figure out how to break it down and get it out there.
Now, one of the things that Mark was saying, he lives up in where? Where does he live?
Southern accent, Tennessee.
Tennessee, somewhere like that. So what I'm finding in composting is I'm drying out very fast. So I understand that you kind of do things differently in the desert. I mean, your product works in the desert.
This is perfect for the desert. So so in a traditional compost pile, it, like you said, it gets super hot and it gets dried out and you're constantly out there with the hose and the water bill is sky high. With this method, you're keeping all of the moisture from the food scraps locked in this bucket, as well as all the nutrients. So in an outdoor pile, you have this off-gassing of methane. Those are nutrients just going into the atmosphere. So we get to keep all those. So that's another added benefit. And then once it's transferred into the soil, it stays wet in the soil. Extremely wet. So much so that last summer I had a family vacation in Austin and I stopped watering the garden. I told my plants, look, I'm really sorry, but gotta go. And you're kind of my experiment right now. And my little garden plot was, full of this Bokashi food waste. I didn't water it for the whole week. Middle of July.
Wow.
I get back.
That's a death sentence.
Right? I know. I felt like a bad plant mom. I get back and the summer squash looked sad, like it does in the middle of the afternoon. It looked a little tired, like it was ready for happy hour. But the baby watermelons were sprawling and flowers, and they were so excited to see me. And I put my finger into the soil, and about an inch down, it was wet. There was legitimate moisture. And that was my confirmation that I absolutely need to be here in Arizona telling people, everyone, about this food waste recycling method because it works.
Yeah.
It's great.
That's awesome. So while we're on that, where do people reach you?
Well, I'm located in Tempe.
Okay.
Normally I'd be at the farmers markets, the downtown Phoenix market, as well as the new super awesome Tempe farmers market under the 202.
Mm-hmm.
But I've kind of pulled back in anticipation of this big trip I'm going on in January.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be going to New Zealand to shoot a documentary about Bokashi composting.
How cool is that?
And it is huge there.
Really?
I contacted the organic farmer that first introduced Bokashi composting to the islands. I'd say mid-90s.
Mm-hmm.
His name's Neville Burt. Coolest guy ever. You guys would love to have him on your show.
His name's Neville. He has to be cool.
I know. He's the coolest guy.
Put in a good word for us.
I will.
Yes.
He's really hard to understand because we're American and he's Kiwi. And
what is Kiwi?
He has an accent. He's a New Zealander.
Oh, okay. I'm like, kiwi. I know that's a fruit, but what? I am uncultured.
You're fine. You're just hungry.
Always.
Is that a fat joke? I get it. That's cool. Moving on.
We gotta edit that one out.
Yeah, right. You think he'll edit that out?
No.
So it was probably after a happy hour. I'm like, I'm going to email this guy. He's my super number one hero. I got to see if Bokashi composting really is as big as I think it is. Because I created this huge story in my head about how there's 0 food scraps and everyone's growing gardens and there's this huge movement there. I wrote Neville an email. Within 24 hours, he wrote me back. And basically he confirmed with me that that's real.
Really?
And
so you dreamed it and it became true. That's awesome.
Magic.
Wow. It's like the Willy Wonka's chocolate factory of composting going on in New Zealand.
It's quite spectacular.
I want a golden ticket.
So he kind of laid out this grassroots movement for me. And to me, the defining moment is back in 2008, they passed what's called the Waste Minimization Act. is so extreme and probably so difficult for us Americans to comprehend that there really isn't much going to the landfills anymore. It's really just the big bulk items. I mean, when you have a civilization on an island, they're very aware of their waste. And that's something that I miss having lived on Maui. People were more aware. And New Zealand, they're extremely aware. So
Make everybody live on an island like Hawaii for a little while.
Exactly.
Yes, make me do that, please. Well, it's funny. She says that that's what you miss about the island. I'm thinking I'd be missing those beaches, man. But that's me.
I didn't want to rub it in.
Yeah, you didn't have to. It was just happening. Every time I hear Hawaii, I want to go. Anyway, that is pretty cool. You figure real estate is probably through the roof there, so putting a dump in's probably not the best investment.
Landfills cost billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. And what they're doing now is I believe in Auckland, they're starting a new program where they have these little microchips in these buckets. And they're small. They created them, they're like trash bins. They're very small, kind of like grocery store baskets. Okay. They're about that size. And you have a red bin for landfill, you have a yellow bin for recycle, and a green bin for green waste or food scraps. But the red bin has a little chip in it, so when they go to pick that up, they weigh it and you're charged. Could you imagine you were charged by the pound? That's what they're going to be experiencing.
Isn't there similar acts being passed in different states around the U.S., though?
I always thought you shouldn't do that. It's really dumb. And the more I get into growing my own food, the more I get into the food movement. Mm-hmm. I got to admit, I'm changing my mind on that. Yeah, I think it would be wonderful if that was the case. Because we waste so much in this nation.
Over 97% of food waste generated ends up in the landfill, according to the EPA. 97%.
Think of all the topsoil.
Yeah. Well, and that's we've been talking about black soldier flies, and black soldier flies love eating fresh food scraps, and black soldier flies can turn into money like immediately. So it's almost like there should be a capitalist already like, oh hey, I'll take all your garbage and throw it in my black soldier fly bin.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
and if anybody wants to do that, we'll take a cut.
Yeah,
for coming up with the idea.
Exactly.
You just leaked your new venture.
That's right. Yeah, we grow ours at PayPal.com. You can send your money anytime.
There you go.
So now, how are you going on this trip to New Zealand?
So I am doing a Indiegogo campaign. So I'm in the middle of finishing this little cute, funny video, talking about the trip, how much money I'll need. But I'm basically saving up. I'm also a waitress. Mm-hmm. So I'm saving all my tips. I'm my own personal investor. And so I'll be going on this trip, hopefully with a friend of mine who will have some filming equipment, fingers crossed. And we'll, cruise around the island for 2 weeks, hitting up all these incredible people Neville has lined up. And then edit the footage and create this awesome documentary.
How cool.
I want to see it.
Right? Me too. And tour, schools and universities and eco-villages and invite, people outside of eco-villages to come and interact and, really just kind of pump up this movement, get a little excitement going around.
I think it needs some excitement.
Seriously.
Talking about compost and going to workshops, it's great. But it doesn't have, it's almost like we need to see the bigger picture and we need to see things that are working to see how great they could be. And I feel like Arizona's a little behind and we can't really imagine it. And that's why it's not moving as quickly. So
and you're going to change that.
I hope so.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I think it'll be great. And that reminds me, I read something about this group doing something similar with the Sahara, where they're doing a lot of permaculture and soil treatment, but they found that the microbials that were accidentally introduced into the soil were actually causing salt blockage. Like
Oh, wow.
salt was being suppressed, so the pH was able to maintain, and the and moisture was being held in the mulch and the stuff, and so they're in a non-conventional way they're able to take back desert. So we're in the desert, and everybody is so hell bent on watering lawns and having their swimming pools and stuff, which I'm never going to have those things because I'm too cheap. But if we just had something like this going, that's very pretty. Gardening is very pretty, and you don't have to have a big compost pile. I think that's the selling point here is, no, you don't have to have a giant pile of decomposing matter on the side of your yard waiting for it to become soil. You can actively engage it, and that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. And for those that do have these big piles, don't stop what you're doing. Take your fermented food scraps that are rich with this microbial community, dig a hole in the center of it, dump it in the middle, and you've created this huge compost bomb.
Oh,
And
sweet.
really watch the pile break down that way.
So I'm speaking of bombs. The alcohol, the type of alcohol that's being produced, you called it ester?
I believe it's ester.
Is that
I've heard of that.
okay? Because I have not. I know of ethanol and methanol. I'm very methanol. But if there's alcohol being produced, that means there's fuel capabilities with this too.
Dun dun dun.
Oh my gosh! I just saw the sloth from the Crudes. No,
Yeah.
nothing. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? Okay, yeah. Dun dun dun. Anyway, awesome. Moving on. Yeah, that would be great. Because now you've got an alcohol coming off as an exhaust, really. And
Yeah. How does the alcohol? What happens to the alcohol? Does it just evaporate?
It
off?
just evaporates. Mm-hmm.
That'd be interesting.
Mhm.
That sounds
You
like a
got
cool
mixed little
project.
gears going now.
Oh my gosh, I'm so pumped right now because I'm already need an excuse to build a whiskey still. I don't
Oh
even
my
drink
gosh.
alcohol, but I'm gonna do it.
I'll drink it.
It's like compost ester alcohol.
Sounds like a party.
I think you can go blind just smelling it. I don't know.
Again, this is not harmful.
Okay.
Yes. Everyone's like, I'm never going to do that.
So, all right, back to you got me way off.
Thanks
track
for
there.
bringing us back.
Yeah, no
Don.
problem. So you're doing the Indiegogo. You're going
Mhm.
to raise funds, go to New Zealand, bring it back. And what happens after that? I mean, you're going to share this thing. What are your overall goals? What are you going to?
My current overall goal, besides getting it out there, is I think it'd be super awesome to be able to pick up Bokashi in the grocery store. So I'd love to have this product in the grocery store and have it become just second nature. Here we are buying our groceries, which, hopefully not majority of them end up in the compost bucket, but I should probably get my Bokashi and then just try to get it incorporated into a daily routine. And that will also help people be more responsible and aware of what they're purchasing at the grocery store. Don't overbuy.
You don't want to the processed foods, things like that. You don't want that in your compost pile.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm amazed doing this stuff. I was amazed at what we were wasting. Until you start doing something, you don't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're right, is the more and more people you can bring on. And I'm going to take this a step further. I mean, this is something that you can do in a very small container, so it's portable. So we're preppers. That's a big part of our audience. I see a big prepping application with this because it looks to me like you can store this long term and have it ready for if you have to go. We're always preaching that, hey, you need your stored food, your MREs, whatever it happens to be, for a few months while you get your gardens going, while you get all of this going. This like fits in. You put this right in your cabinet with your prepper stuff, and now something happens, you can go out and plant your own food, and you've got what you need. So
Sure.
how much? I mean, once I buy this, how much do I need, and how long does it last?
I've read studies saying that it can be activated as far as 3 years down the road. But I encourage people to use within the year.
So yeah, just keep it going, rotate it.
Absolutely.
That's the next question is the bacteria, they do increase their culture, right? Like this isn't a sterile, like a Ridex bacteria. This is something that will continue to reproduce, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
But once you put it in the garden, it's going to get used up.
Yeah, okay.
It will interact with the native beneficial bacteria in your soil. And that's what's so incredible about these beneficial or microorganisms is that they work together. And specifically, the phototrophic bacteria actually makes plants larger and bigger and healthier. So you can get, increased yields also from the application.
Wow.
Very cool.
Oh, and I forgot. You can also compost meat and dairy products in your bucket.
Hey, there you go.
I know you have some rabbit scraps.
Yeah. Oh, now my wheels are turning here. I know what to, usually I just feed them to the turtles, but.
And the
going into
reason
the garden.
why you can have meat and dairy and fish, things like that, and processed foods, is because the acidity is so high when you're fermenting the food scraps, so that the chance of, bad bacteria forming or E. coli or things like that are completely diminished because they wouldn't be able to survive.
Does this get hot like normal composting?
It does not. It's definitely
Because you're doing a
cold
completely different. I mean, you're
compost.
fermenting.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. So people can find you at bokashievolution.com.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook. What's your Facebook?
Bokashi Evolution.
I'm excited. I want to get some now.
That's awesome. What's that white powder you got there? Nothing.
Oh, I have one more really awesome
Yeah.
thing.
Let's
This will
hear it.
really seal the deal. So the beneficial bacteria in Bokashi, the very same bacteria that you get in any bag of Bokashi, has been used to reduce radioactivity after Fukushima, has been used to clean up the Katrina oil spill or Katrina disaster relief efforts, oil spills,
How does that work?
clean water.
It's just angry eating everything bacteria.
It likes to consume pollutants and toxins, and not just in, polluted areas, but in your soil as well.
Oh, how cool.
Wow.
Mhm.
So, wow, that is cool.
Oh, what about the hot topic GMOs?
Oh, no.
I personally asked Jeffrey Smith, one of the leading GMO-free activists out there, when he came to town, I think earlier this year, are we able to eradicate a GMO by fermentation? And he said yes, that his team of scientists had said that was totally legitimate, that you could break down GMO by fermenting it.
I had never thought about if you took a GMO, food and put it into, your compost, traditional compost pile, can that cause problems in your vegetables?
Yeah, I'd say those same molecules that were in it are going to be.
But you're not pulling up. That's interesting. That's kind of cool. So we can use this and not worry about it. All right.
Well,
Good deal.
well, that brings up, I guess, the carbon that we're made of is mostly derived from corn, whether we've eaten that corn or not, just because everything else is eating that corn. And they're able to trace that carbon back. So when they're using a GMO corn, yeah, we're getting that carbon strand. So I don't know if GMOs on the molecular level are harmful. I really don't know I don't know any of that stuff. But I don't like the fact that they're introducing new species that have never been on the planet, like year after year. They're just making up new stuff with really no foresight to the consequences that might come. So yeah, it'd be nice to, all right, I'm going to turn you into alcohol and compost. Boom, that GMO. How about no? Anyway. Now Dawn's turning red. See, I wasn't embarrassed when I said that.
No, I was not embarrassed.
Oh my gosh. On that note, so let's see, what else we got? We got this cool little bucket, goes underneath of the sink. All your stuff goes in there, and you turn it into black gold. And we need to hear more from our New Zealander friends, and we're sending her on a mission to do that. So you can help by going to
www.bokashievolution.com.
Okay.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What will you do when your stored supplies run out? Are you prepared? Hostile Hair provides equipment and education you need to control your own infinite food supply. We have live food storage systems, rabbits, quail, and other urban livestock for any situation and strategy. Don't be limited by what's on the shelves. Get started with an infinite food source today. Get prepped, stay fed with Hostile Hair. Call 480-331-3761 or visit hostlehair.com.
We need like 1,000 more interviews just like that.
Just like that.
That was awesome. It's fun to have a casual conversation where it's like, hey, there's microphones here.
I agree. I get to look at somebody other than you. It's like,
Oh, come on, Don. I'm a good-looking feller.
uh-huh.
Yeah, the cuteness in the room definitely went up when she walked in.
Yeah. Well, it was,
Subsequently, it went down after she left.
imagine that. She can get mad at us now.
Yeah.
No, that was she did a wonderful job. I'm excited to try this stuff.
Well, and a girl like that. That's somebody who needs to be the spearhead of an organization.
Yeah, she's got passion for it.
Passion. She's likable. You know, she's a perfect front runner for this. So
Yeah.
I think that she's got a great plan, and I'm willing to support it.
So it's BokashiEvolution.com.
Bokashi Evolution.
And I hope some of our listeners go take a look. We're going to have in our show
I
notes.
hope all our listeners do.
Yeah, well, I hope you guys actually donate and go to her website and check out her Indiegogo campaign. I think I'm saying that right?
Indiegogo. I don't know. When she said it, I was like, man, I'm so not hip. What does
Yeah,
that
I know.
mean?
It's a fundraising thing, so she can get some cash
Oh,
together.
is it crowd?
Yeah, crowdfunding.
Okay, crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding.
Crowdsourcing. So many new cool things out there, and I'm just not up on it.
Well, help support her because we need something like that. Like I said, I the amount of waste that our culture has is just unreal.
Oh, and we're coming down from the effects of oh man, what the heck is that called?
I don't know.
There's a saying.
Global warming.
Yes, no. It's basically, throw it away. It's the throw it away society
Yeah.
where it
Use
doesn't
and throw it away.
work anymore. Just throw it away.
But we're throwing away so much good waste.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. I mean,
Well, yeah, go in the back of a
I used
grocery
to fill
store.
up one of those huge dumpster things at my house. Yeah, and you go to a grocery store is a really good example. Why can't somebody come up, like you said, and start grabbing that stuff and go and making compost out of it, and you can turn around and sell that? I mean,
It's work. I mean, it's not get rich quick.
yeah, but it's not
work.
Miracle Grow in a bag at Home Depot
Exactly.
either, which is a bunch of chemicals, frankly, made by Monsanto. You know, half of the stuff is laden with this crap.
Mhm.
And let's go get some potting soil and grow our vegetables in it.
Yeah.
And we've got all this waste. I mean, go to your own grocery store and dumpster dive a little. It's amazing what you can get out of there. And
Bring a
use something
pitchfork
like this.
because when you're going through it with your hands and you hit a tomato, it's just unpleasant.
I worked at one of my first jobs was at Safeway, right?
Uh-huh.
And they have the fryers for the chicken.
Uh-huh.
Like they do the chicken fryers. And
Okay.
that oil starts to stink after a while.
Well, yeah.
That smell in that. Well, I have to go dump this stuff
Oh, no.
out in the dumpster, and I pick it up, and this is like my second day on the job, and I reach up to pour it into the oil catcher or whatever the heck it was, and it slipped. It dumped all over me. I was vomiting, slipping, the smell. I was like, I'm done. I need to go home. It was all in my hair. And it was horrid. It was horrid. So watch going to that kind of dumpster. But you can go out and grab all this stuff they throw away.
Well, and now they've got oil catches. You can't put that into a regular dumpster anymore.
No, it wasn't a regular. It was an oil thing.
It was an oil receptacle, and you managed to do that?
Yeah, well, you had to lift it over your head and dump it in.
Really?
It was like a dumpster for oil.
That's weird because now they're all like waste level.
Yeah,
I know this because we were harvesting used vegetable oil for.
This wasn't. This was like basically a dumpster they put oil in. I don't know what happened to it. I didn't ask. But whatever. It was gross.
You put it in the wrong dumpster.
It was gross, and I did what I was told to do, and it fell on me. It dumped on me. It was disgusting. It was like a 5-gallon bucket.
Oh,
and I think the little handle popped off, the little metal handle popped off of it, and it went right on me. It was gross. Anyway, back to, so we try to have people on anywhere from martial arts to guns to whatever, but this is part of it.
Yes.
This is part of prepping. This is part of growing your own. This is what we need to do. She works, I think does some classes with the VPA as well. And, is out there doing that. But her dream isn't to teach 10 or 15 people in a class
to reach out
that are already aware of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's to reach out across from what I can tell. And you're right. She's got the personality to do it, to go somewhere, film this thing, and people are going to want to watch it. There's a pretty girl talking about this stuff. People are going to watch it. It's fun to watch. She's got this great attitude about it. And then share it with people that probably wouldn't otherwise be interested in compost. And I think that's what's cool. I think you can go do that and share and eventually maybe even get it into the grocery store where it becomes mainstream. So I wish her all the luck. And I hope our listeners go support her as well.
Yep.
So what else you got, Nick?
Well, it's too late to promote the fact that we're teaching at the Prepper event.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed the classes. I hope I did a decent job with the black soldier flies because I completely forgot until just now.
I totally wrangled you into that too. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
She's like, do you know anybody that does black soldier fly? Yes, I do. Don Cupper. He's an expert. Don, you going to teach a class? What? But what?
We're going to have a booth too. I'm excited.
Yes.
We got a nice little setup, I think.
Yeah.
We haven't looked at it
you
yet.
think?
Well, it's still in boxes.
Yeah, it's in a box. It's about
it's in a couple of
18
boxes.
One.
No, I've got a banner in a box. I've got other stuff
okay.
in a box. I've got a sign in a box. So we're going to be unboxing all of our stuff and putting it together at the thing. So yeah, come. I hope you enjoyed seeing us. Keep wanting to say come see us, but I guess it's
come see us in November up in Kingman.
In Kingman, yeah. Or at least come see Nick.
Yeah. Oh, you're not
going to have
come?
Hostile Hair up there, right?
But you're not going to come?
I don't know. It's a long drive. I might have something else happening that weekend.
Oh, well, fine. Screw you.
Yeah, well.
What a jerk.
Anyways.
On that note, what else do we got? That's pretty much it.
I think so.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. It's been a swell evening or morning or whatever time of day it is. You're listening to the freaking podcast because it's not exactly live now, is it? Anyway, we love you all. Thanks for listening.